I learned early that the fastest way to disappear in the Orion Spur was to become boring. No uniforms, no medals, no rank pins or service tattoos. I wore plain spacer clothes, kept my hair unremarkable, my posture slouched just enough to look tired instead of trained. On the station registries, I was listed as Jonah Hale, Cargo Compliance Tech. A job so dull even smugglers forgot you existed. That was the point. Helios Station hung above the blue-white limb of Caros like a scar itself, old, patched, and never fully healed. Refugees, traders, diplomats, mercenaries, and exiles passed through its spinning corridors every day. Humans were still a novelty in most sectors, but not enough to be special anymore. Just another species trying to survive among hundreds. I kept my head down. I logged manifests. I drank cheap CAF. I slept in a narrow bunk that hummed with recycled air. And I never took my shirt off, because beneath the fabric, etched across my chest, was a scar no med gel could erase. A burn in the shape of a branching star. The mark of Project Aegis. The mark of the only human ever to survive direct neural contact with a precursor relic and live long enough to shut it down. Officially, Commander Jonah Hale died 11 years ago when the colony ship Eos was destroyed. Unofficially, every major power in known space still had my face in their classified archives. I was a ghost by choice, until the day she reached out and touched my chest. Her name, I later learned, was Sariel of the Vathany Clades. The Vathany were tall, luminous beings with skin that shimmered like mother of pearl and eyes that reflected emotion as shifting colors. They were empaths, not telepaths, but something adjacent. Touch amplified it, which was why I should never have let her near me. But fate has a cruel sense of timing. It happened in Dockring C, during a routine inspection. A cargo hauler from the outer systems had flagged irregular biosignatures. Standard procedure meant a mixed-species inspection team. I was assigned as the human compliance rep, mostly to make the paperwork easier. Sariel stood across from me in the narrow inspection bay, her posture formal, her presence calm in a way that made the air feel quieter. Vathany emissaries were rare here. She wore the flowing crystalline sash of a Clade listener, part diplomat, part historian. Her eyes flickered silver blue as she studied the cargo crate, then me. "You are human," she said softly. "Last I checked," I replied, keeping my tone flat. She tilted her head, curiosity rippling through her aura. "Your emotional field is muted, like a star wrapped in fog." I shrugged. Long hours. The inspection went smoothly until an automated arm malfunctioned, jolting the crate and sending a shard of alloy flying. I reacted without thinking, stepping forward, twisting, pulling Sariel back just as the shard sliced through my shirt. Pain flared. Fabric tore. And my scar was exposed. For half a second, nothing happened. Then Sariel's hand pressed instinctively against my chest, steadying herself. She might have claimed later. Her fingers touched the scar. The inspection bay lights flickered. Sariel froze. Her eyes went wide, colors cascading wildly, violet, gold, burning white. I felt it too. A sudden pressure behind my eyes. A hum in my bones. The old echo of the relic's voice, long silent, stirring like a memory of thunder. She gasped and pulled her hand back as if burned. "It's you," she whispered, voice trembling. "By the Clades, it's you." My heart slammed against my ribs. "Don't," I said sharply, grabbing her wrist before she could speak louder. "You don't know me." "I do," she insisted, awe and fear tangling in her presence. "I have walked the memory pools of my people. I have touched the echoes of the precursors. That scar, your neural signature, It is recorded in our deepest histories. I released her wrists slowly, scanning the bay. No one else was paying attention. Machines hummed. The crate sat inert. "Then you know why you shouldn't say my name," I said quietly. Her gaze softened, reverent. "You are the breaker of the Silent Star, the human who refused the Precursor's command and severed their last control node." I swallowed. "That name gets people killed." "And saves them," she replied. That was when the station alarms began to howl. Helios Station shuddered as emergency lights flashed crimson. Over the intercom, a panicked voice shouted about unauthorized warships exiting hyperspace, 3 of them, bearing the sigil of the Car Dominion. My blood ran cold. The Car had lost half their fleets when the Precursor network collapsed. They'd never forgiven the species responsible, humans, or more specifically me. Sariel's presence sharpened with alarm. "They are here for you." "They don't know that," I said, though even as the words left my mouth, I knew they were wrong. "Not officially." She met my eyes. "They felt the echo when I touched you. The relic resonance. They have trackers attuned to it." Of course they did. The station rocked again as docking clamps engaged. Hostile boarding. I cursed under my breath. Then I guess being boring finally failed. Sariel stepped closer, lowering her voice. "If they take you alive, they will force you to interface again. They will rebuild what you destroyed." "Not happening," I said. Security drones zipped past the bay entrance, already exchanging fire. Screams echoed down the corridor. Sariel hesitated only a moment before reaching for my hand. "Come with me. There is a sanctuary vault beneath the listener's quarters, shielded against all forms of detection." "You barely know me," I said. Her fingers tightened around mine. "I have known you longer than you have known yourself." We ran. The vault was ancient, older than the station itself. Vathany technology hummed softly, layered with precursor counter-resonance fields. For the first time in years, the pressure in my skull eased. We sealed the door just as explosions thundered above us. In the dim, crystal-lit chamber, Sariel finally exhaled, her luminous skin dimming to a steady glow. She turned to me, eyes reflecting sorrow and wonder in equal measure. "You are afraid," she said gently. "Not of death, of being seen." "I spent a long time earning that anonymity," I replied, leaning against the wall. "You don't survive what I did by staying in the spotlight." She stepped closer, careful now, not touching. "Why did you refuse the Precursors?" The question echoed one I'd been asked 1,000 times in debriefs, interrogations, and nightmares. "They promised order," I said. "Peace enforced by obedience. Every species slotted into a perfect, silent machine." "And you said no," she murmured. "I said humanity doesn't kneel well," I corrected. "We adapt. We argue. We choose, even when the choice hurts." Sariel smiled faintly. "That is why the echo sang when I touched you. The Precursors could not comprehend defiance rooted in empathy." A violent impact shook the vault doors. "They'll breach eventually," I said. "Shielded or not." Sariel's gaze hardened, resolve crystallizing. "Then we make a stand. Together." I met her eyes. For the first time in 11 years, I didn't look away from who I was. "All right," I said. "But you should know, I only survived last time because I was willing to burn." Her smile was fierce. "So am I." The car breach team broke through with brute force, their armored forms filling the corridor like living tanks. Energy weapons lit the chamber in blinding arcs. I moved without thinking. Years of training, suppressed but never forgotten, snapped back into place. I disarmed the first car with a pivot and strike, using its own mass against it. Sariel stood behind me, her hands glowing as she amplified my neural field, not controlling, but harmonizing. The scar on my chest burned. The echo roared back, not as a command, but as a chorus. I reached out, not to dominate the relic systems embedded in the station, but to disconnect them, forcing every precursor fragment into inert silence. Car targeting systems failed. Their comms went dead. They hadn't expected resistance born of cooperation. One by one, they fell. When it was over, the vault was silent except for our breathing. Station security arrived minutes later, too late to stop the fight, but in time to witness the aftermath. Sariel turned to me, her expression tender. You cannot hide anymore. The galaxy will feel this. I nodded slowly. Yeah, I figured. She reached out again, this time asking permission with her eyes. I let her touch the scar. Instead of pain, there was warmth. Then let them remember, she said. Not as a weapon, but as a choice. In the weeks that followed, the truth spread. Commander Jonah Hale was alive. The human who broke the precursors hadn't vanished. He'd been waiting. I testified before councils. I stood beside Sariel as humanity was no longer spoken of in whispers, but in measured respect. The car withdrew. Other powers reconsidered old assumptions. And when people asked how I was recognized after all those years, I told them the truth. Because sometimes it takes a gentle touch to reveal a scar. And sometimes that scar reminds the galaxy exactly who you are and why humanity will never be easy to control. I stood at the viewport of Helios Station as the last car warship slipped into hyperspace, its jagged silhouette folding into nothing. For the first time since the Eos burned, the galaxy felt quiet. Not silent. Just no longer screaming my name in fear. Sariel joined me, her presence a calm tied against the chaos that had followed in the days since. Councils had argued. Fleets had repositioned. Old powers had tested the edges of a future where the precursors were truly gone, and where a human had proven that choice could be stronger than ancient gods. They will watch you now, she said softly. Some with hope, some with dread. I nodded. That's fine. Watching is better than ruling. She studied me for a long moment, then placed her hand over the scar on my chest, not to awaken the echo, but to acknowledge it. This mark is no longer a wound, she said. It is a record, a reminder that even the smallest species can defy inevitability. I exhaled, feeling the weight I'd carried for 11 years finally settle into something manageable. I don't want statues. I don't want legends. Her eyes shimmered with quiet amusement. Too late for that. A transport beacon lit in the distance. Human ships arriving, not as conquerors, but as equals. Engineers, diplomats, explorers, people who would never know the terror of a universe run by silent machines. I straightened my shoulders, not as a commander returning to war, but as a man stepping back into the light. Then let the story be simple, I said. We were given chains. We chose to break them. And when the galaxy reached out to see who we were, Sariel smiled. We didn't pull away. The stars outside burned bright and countless, no longer watching us as subjects, but as neighbors. And for the first time, humanity wasn't running from its place among them. We were finally standing in it.